Radio hosts who interviewed Biden claim White House sent questions beforehand. Of course they did. This is part of their tactics. They want to protect Biden. They're going to send the questions in beforehand. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't give the last that ABC interview with Stophanopoulos or whatever his name is. If that wasn't, they didn't have they didn't give him interview questions, even though he did ask. I will say he did ask some important questions, but it's par for the course for the Democrats. They always give answers and questions ahead of time. They always do these things. My surprise is that these radio hosts are coming out and admitting this, because we know that most of these interviewers that are Democrats. So I think more and more people are being honest about what's happening with Joe Biden, and the Democrat Party is turning against him. So more stories like this is going to be coming out. So we're going to play the clip. We're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right. So let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from InfoWars. And they report that a radio host who interviewed Joe Biden on Wednesday told CNN that the White House sent her questions to ask him before the interview. Host Victor Blackwell asked Andrea Lawful-Sanders, host of The Source on Word, if the White House had sent her questions or if she submitted her own questions for approval prior to interviewing Biden. She said, quote, "The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved of them," she said. Wow. So I'm going to play the clip in a second. But Blackwell noted that if the White House wanted to assuage voters about Biden's vim and vigor, sending questions to an interviewer for pre-approval was not the right course of action. And I definitely agree. You're not going to win anybody over like that. But again, I can't believe they're actually coming out and admitting this. But let's play this clip here.
Something I listened to both of them, and there's something that's similar here. You each were, you asked 4 questions, and maybe that's what you were allowed to ask by the campaign or the White House. But they were essentially the same questions, both interviews, about accomplishments, progress in your respective state, what's at stake in the election, what he has to say about his debate performance, and what he would say to voters who think their vote doesn't matter or might sit this election out. Were those questions given to you by the White House, or did you have, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved of them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview.
Crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either of you. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming.
Just crazy, right? The Biden campaign pushed back on these reports, stating, quote, "We do not condition interviews on acceptance of these questions, and hosts are always free to ask the questions they think will best inform their listeners." So why send them in the first place? Why do it in the first place if that's the case? Biden tried and failed to assure voters that he's mentally and physically fit to execute the duties of the presidency, claiming everything he does on a daily basis is a cognitive test, which we know is not the case. They're protecting him. That's why they sending these questions for approval. They're going to do everything they can to try to protect him. I told y'all in 2020, what did I call him? Weekend at Bernie's, and we're seeing it live now. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.